Tonight, let us do something simple and quiet together. We will step slowly into a medieval town, not during a festival, not during a battle, not during any loud moment at all. We will choose an ordinary evening, the kind of evening that almost never enters history books, because nothing dramatic happens, and that is exactly why it can feel so restful. This is a calm little journey for Mind Lepic, and we will keep it soft and unhurried. Before we begin, just gently, and only if you feel like it. Where are you listening from tonight? What country are you in? What city are you in? You do not need to answer out loud. You can simply notice the thought, and let it pass like a slow cloud. Now, imagine you are outside a town wall at the end of a mild day. It is not very cold, and it is not very hot. The air has that in-between feeling, the kind that makes you want to walk slowly, with your hands relaxed at your sides. The sun is low, and the light is turning warm, and then softer, and then more gray. In the distance, the town sits like a gentle shape. Stone, wood, and clay resting on the land. The roofs look uneven, because each house is made by hand, and repaired by hand, and changed by hand. Nothing is perfectly straight, and somehow that makes the whole place feel more human, more forgiving, more sleepy. We are not here to rush into big events. We are here to notice comfortable habits, small routines, quiet customs, the kinds of things people did in the evening to feel safe, to feel settled, and to prepare their minds for sleep. And yes, some of these habits may seem unusual today, but they were not meant to be shocking. They were meant to be practical, soothing, and familiar. 1. The habit of ending the day together. In many medieval homes, the evening was not a private, separate thing. People did not disappear into many rooms, because most homes did not have many rooms. A small home might have one main space and maybe a tiny side space. A larger home might have a hall and a few chambers. But even then, the main evening time often gathered people into the warmest, most useful area. The warmth mattered. The light mattered. The shared feeling mattered. So one gentle habit was simply this. People ended the day in the same place, close enough to hear each other breathe, close enough to hear the small sounds of home. You might hear a soft scrape as a stool shifts. You might hear a quiet cough. You might hear the tiny crackle of a fire that is almost done working for the day. It was not entertainment the way we think of it now. It was more like a calm closing of the day, a slow folding of the hours, like folding cloth. Even if someone was tired, even if someone was silent, even if someone only sat and stared at the fire, they were still part of the shared evening, and that, by itself, can be comforting. 2. The habit of making the fire sleepy. A medieval hearth was not only for cooking. It was the center of evening comfort. But people did not keep the fire blazing high all night, not unless they truly needed it. Wood was precious. Charcoal was work. And a roaring fire can be bright and restless. So a common habit was to change the fire's mood. They would make it smaller. They would pull the coals inward. They would cover some parts with ash. They would set thicker pieces of wood to burn slowly, not quickly. The goal was a fire that felt like a slow animal settling down, a fire that glows instead of shouts. Sometimes the last cooking pot would be moved aside. A hook might be lifted. A kettle might be left where it could stay warm but not boil. And then the fire becomes what we might call a night fire, not for noise, not for drama, just for a soft, steady presence. The room would feel different. The light would be lower. Shadows would stop dancing wildly and start resting in place. Faces would look gentler. The whole home would begin to look like it is ready to sleep. 3. The habit of warm water, but not too much. Many people think medieval life had no comfort. That is not true. It had less convenience, yes, but comfort still existed, because people still wanted it. They still searched for it. They still invented small ways to feel better. One simple habit was warm water in the evening, not a grand bath every night for everyone. That would be too much work in most homes. Heating large amounts of water takes time and fuel. Carrying it takes strength. Emptying it takes more work. But a smaller comfort was common. A bowl of warm water for hands. A cloth for the face. Sometimes warm water for feet. In a household with enough means, there might be a larger tub used on certain days. In a modest home, it might just be a shared basin near the hearth. Even the act of wiping dust from your hands slowly can feel like letting the day go. Picture it clearly. A wooden bowl. Water that is warm, not hot. A cloth that is rough but clean enough. Hands that have worked. Kneading dough. Holding tools. Carrying baskets. Turning pages. Sewing seams. The warm water softens the skin. It loosens the feeling of labor. And with that, the mind starts to release the day, little by little. 4. The habit of supper that settles, not excites. Evening food in a medieval town depended on money, season, and place. But one thing is often true in ordinary homes. The last meal of the day was meant to fill you and settle you, not thrill you. A common supper might be a thick pottage, something like a stew, made from grains, beans, onions, leeks, or whatever vegetables were available. Sometimes there would be bits of meat or fish, but not always. Often, bread was the reliable friend at the table. Bread could be dark or lighter, depending on the flour. It might be coarse. It might be dense. It might be sour from fermentation, but it was steady. It was familiar, and in many homes, people ate from bowls using spoons, tearing bread with fingers, sharing what was there. Supper could be quiet, because everyone was tired. Or it could be gently talkative, with a few simple words. Plans for tomorrow, a neighbor's news, a small comment about the weather. But in a peaceful home, supper ends without rushing. They do not leap up. They do not chase excitement. They let the meal settle. And after supper, there is often a moment that feels like a slow exhale, because the body knows food has arrived. The hardest part of the day is done, and the night can begin. 5. The habit of closing the home carefully. Now we come to a very soothing medieval habit. The careful closing of the home. At night, a town was darker than what we are used to today. There were candles, oil lamps, and hearth light, but there was no wide blanket of street lighting. So closing the home was not just a thought. It was a ritual. It was a series of small actions that told the mind, we are safe enough to sleep. A wooden bar slides into place. A latch drops with a soft clack. A shutter is pulled closed. A cloth is placed to block a draft. A candle is moved away from the edge of a table. Each action is slow, familiar, repeated across many nights. You can imagine the sound of the door. It is not a modern click. It is wood against wood. It is a deeper sound, a dull, gentle thump. And then the home becomes a closed shell. Not perfect protection. Nothing ever is, but enough for the mind to rest. 6. The habit of low light and soft voices. After the home is closed, the light becomes smaller. In many houses, candles were used carefully. They were not thrown around like endless supply. Wax could be expensive. Tallow candles could smell heavy. Oil lamps needed oil. So evening light is often modest. A candle might be lit for a short time to finish a task. A small lamp might be used near the hearth. And then, little by little, lights are put out. With dim light, voices naturally soften. People do not speak loudly when the room is mostly shadow. They do not move quickly. They do not want to knock something over. They do not want to waste light, so the home becomes quiet. Not because someone forces silence, but because the environment encourages it. In that way, the medieval night teaches a simple lesson. When light is low, the mind slows down. 7. The habit of simple, repetitive evening work. Now, here is something that might surprise you. Even in the evening, people often did a little work. But it was not the heavy work of the day. It was the gentle work, the small work, the repetitive work that can almost become a lullaby. Someone might mend a tear in a sleeve. Someone might twist fibers into thread. Someone might patch a shoe. Someone might peel garlic or onions for tomorrow. Someone might check a basket of dried beans. A monk might copy a few careful lines, then stop. A merchant might count a small stack of coins, then put them away. A baker might prepare something simple for the morning. These tasks were often done near the remaining warmth, with slow hands and tired eyes. And because they were repetitive, they could feel calming. The mind does not have to invent anything new. It only has to follow a familiar pattern, stitch after stitch, twist after twist, fold after fold. It is not exciting. It is not meant to be. It is meant to be steady. 8. The habit of sharing warmth in practical ways. Medieval nights could be cold. Even inside a home, drafts could slip through cracks. Stone can hold cold. Wind can find its way in. So people shared warmth in practical, quiet ways. They might sit closer together near the hearth. They might keep a small animal inside. Maybe a cat. Maybe a chicken in some cases. Maybe a dog. Not as a trend, but because warmth is warmth, and animals are part of life. They might use thick wool blankets. Wool was one of the great comforts of medieval Europe. Wool clothing, wool coverings, wool hoods, wool socks. It holds warmth even when air is cold. In some homes, people warmed stones by the fire and placed them near the bed, wrapped in cloth to bring gentle heat into the sheets. Not a hot stone, a warm stone. That is a quiet kind of comfort, the kind that feels like a secret. But it is really just practical knowledge passed from one winter to the next. 9. The habit of a first sleep feeling. In many times and places, people did not always sleep in one long, unbroken stretch the way many try to do today. They might sleep early, wake later, then sleep again. This was not always planned like a schedule. It often happened naturally because the night was long, and light was limited, and life followed the rhythm of darkness. So a household might settle into what felt like a first deep rest. The fire is low, the talk is done, the candle is out, the room is quiet. Someone lies down on a straw mattress, or a rope bed, or a simple sleeping surface. A blanket is pulled up. A hood might be worn for warmth. The body finds a position that does not strain the joints, and the first sleep arrives. We will not rush ahead. We will stay in this first part of the night for a while, because it is where the calm lives, our town, our evening, our gentle path. Now, as we move forward in this story across the next parts, we will follow one evening in one ordinary town. We will meet a few quiet people. We will see their simple routines. We will notice the comfortable habits that help them feel safe at night. Not because medieval life was perfect. It was not. But because even in hard times, people still found soft methods. They still shaped their evenings into something calmer. They still looked for peace where they could. And that search for peace is something you can recognize, even now while you listen. In the next part, we will step into the town itself at dusk. We will move past a quiet street. We will listen to the last sounds of trade fading away, and we will follow the warm glow that leaks gently from a few windows, like a promise that inside someone is settling down. For now, just let your breathing slow. Let the idea of a dim room, a sleepy hearth, and a simple supper rest in your mind. And at the very end of this first part, as softly as possible, here is a gentle thought to carry with you. If you feel relaxed with Mind Lepic, you can like if you want. You can subscribe if you feel it helps you relax more. The evening continues, slowly, without hurry. We are now inside the town walls, standing on a narrow street made of packed earth and worn stones. The ground is not perfectly even. It has been shaped by many footsteps, carts, hooves, and quiet years passing one after another. The sky above is changing color. A soft, gray-blue spreads where the sun once was, and near the horizon there is still a gentle warmth, like the last memory of daylight, holding on just a little longer. The roofs of the houses catch this fading light, their edges glowing softly, before slowly becoming darker shapes. Nothing feels rushed here. The day is ending in a natural way, like a long breath slowly leaving the body. Around you, the town is settling. A wooden cart rolls by at a slow pace. Its wheels make a low, uneven sound as they move across the ground. Not loud, not sharp, just a steady, tired rhythm. The person guiding it does not speak much. There is no need. The day has already said everything it needed to say. A few shop doors are still open, but only slightly. Inside one small shop, a man is carefully placing items back onto a shelf. His movements are slow and familiar. He has done this many times before. He knows exactly where each object belongs, and his hands move without needing to think too much. A piece of cloth is folded. A small tool is set down. A wooden box is closed. Each action feels like part of a quiet routine that helps him leave the day behind. Further along the street, a woman steps outside her doorway. She looks at the sky for a moment, noticing the color, perhaps thinking about tomorrow's weather. Then she reaches up and gently pulls a wooden shutter inward. The sound is soft, wood touching wood, a quiet closing. Not sudden, not heavy, just a calm, final movement. The street begins to feel more enclosed, as shutters close one by one. Windows that once showed small pieces of life now become simple, dark shapes. And yet, not everything disappears. Here and there, a soft, golden glow remains. Light from a candle, light from a hearth, light from a place where someone is still awake, finishing something small before resting. These lights are not bright enough to fill the street. They only touch a small space near each window, but together they create a gentle pattern, a quiet rhythm of light and shadow. You begin to notice the sounds changing. During the day, there might have been voices, trade, movement, small arguments, laughter, and calls across the street. Now those sounds fade. In their place, softer sounds remain, footsteps that are slower, a door closing somewhere in the distance, a faint murmur of voices inside a home, the soft rustle of clothing as someone walks past. Even animals begin to settle. A dog curls near a doorway, its body relaxed. A cat moves quietly along the edge of a wall, its steps almost silent. Somewhere, a chicken shifts on its perch, adjusting for the night. None of these sounds demand attention. They simply exist, gently, like background to a quiet evening. You walk slowly along the street, not needing to reach anywhere. Your pace matches the town. There is no urgency here, no reason to hurry. As you move, you pass a small bakery. The door is mostly closed, but not completely. A thin line of warm light escapes from inside. If you pause for a moment, you can smell something soft and comforting. Bread, not fresh from the oven in the bright, busy way of morning, but the lingering warmth of baked loaves that have already been made. The scent rests in the air, calm and familiar. Inside, the baker is finishing the last small tasks of the day. A cloth is placed over a basket. A surface is wiped clean. A tool is set aside for tomorrow. There is no rush in these movements. The baker knows that the morning will come again, and the work will begin again. There is no need to carry it into the night, so the work ends where it should. Gently, you continue walking. Further ahead, the street becomes slightly narrower. The houses lean in just a little, as if they are resting toward each other. Their upper levels almost seem to touch in some places, creating a feeling of closeness. The air here feels still, less wind, more warmth held between the walls. It is the kind of place where voices, even quiet ones, might echo softly. But tonight there are no loud voices, only the soft presence of people finishing their evenings behind closed doors. A faint sound reaches you. It is not music in the way we think of it now. It is simpler. Perhaps someone humming quietly inside a home. A slow, almost absent melody, not for performance, just for comfort. The sound drifts for a moment, then fades. You pass by a small well at the side of the street. During the day, it might have been busy. People drawing water, speaking, sharing small pieces of news. But now it stands quiet. The rope rests still. The bucket hangs gently. The stone around the well holds the coolness of the evening. No one is there, and that emptiness is not lonely. It is peaceful. It means the work is done for now. A little further on, you notice a faint light moving. A person carries a lantern. The light sways slightly with each step, creating a soft, moving glow on the ground. It does not reach far, but it is enough for careful walking. The person does not move quickly. There is no need. The path is known. The street is familiar. Step by step, the lantern light shifts, then steadies, then shifts again. You watch for a moment, then continue on your way. As the sky darkens further, the colors fade into deeper shades. The last hint of warmth disappears from the horizon. The blue becomes darker. The first quiet signs of night settle in, and with this change, the town feels even more still. Not empty, not silent, but calm in a deeper way. You begin to notice how the buildings themselves seem to rest. During the day, they are part of movement, activity, purpose. But now they simply stand, holding space, holding warmth, holding the quiet lives inside them. Each door, each window, each wall has its own small story. But tonight, all those stories pause at the same time, and that shared pause creates a kind of gentle harmony. You reach a corner where the street turns. Here, there is a slightly wider space, a place where, during the day, people might gather for a moment. But now, it is empty except for the soft touch of evening air. You stop here for a moment, not because you have to, but because it feels natural to pause, to stand, to listen. And when you listen, you notice something very simple: the absence of noise, no sharp sounds, no sudden movement, no urgency, just a soft, steady quiet. The kind of quiet that does not feel forced. The kind that arrives when everything that needed to happen has already happened. And now, nothing more is required. From this quiet corner, you can see a few windows still glowing. Not bright, just enough. Inside those homes, people are finishing their gentle routines. Someone is folding a cloth. Someone is placing a bowl aside. Someone is sitting near a fire that is slowly becoming smaller. We will step into one of those homes soon, but not yet. For now, we stay outside. We stay with the street, with the fading light, with the feeling that the entire town is slowly, softly preparing to sleep. Let your thoughts move as slowly as this walk. No need to think ahead. No need to remember anything. Just follow the quiet rhythm of steps on a calm evening street. And when you are ready, we will move closer to one small home, where a simple night routine continues by the warmth of a low, glowing fire. We now move gently toward one of the softly glowing windows. The street behind you fades into quiet darkness as you step closer to the house. The wooden door is closed, but not tightly sealed. A thin line of warm light rests at the edge, like a quiet invitation. There is no need to knock. We are only observing softly, like a calm presence that does not disturb anything. As we step inside, the air changes. It is warmer here. Not hot, not heavy, just gently warm. The kind of warmth that settles into your shoulders and slowly relaxes them. The light is low. Most of it comes from the hearth, where a small, steady fire glows. The flames are not tall. They move slowly, almost lazily, like they too are preparing for rest. The room is simple. A wooden table stands near the center. A few stools are placed around it. The surface of the table shows marks from years of use. Small cuts, soft dents, places where hands have rested again and again. Nothing here is perfect, and that is part of the comfort. Along one wall, a few items hang carefully. Tools, a cloth, a small basket. Everything has a place, not because someone wanted it to look beautiful, but because it makes life easier. And ease is a quiet form of comfort. Near the fire, a woman sits on a low stool. Her hands are moving slowly, holding a piece of cloth. She is mending it. The needle moves in and out with a steady rhythm. In, out, pull, pause. She does not rush. There is no need to finish quickly. This is evening work, gentle work, work that fits the pace of the night. Each stitch is small, careful, almost identical to the last, and in that repetition there is calm. Across from her, a man sits with his back slightly curved, resting after the day. His hands are not empty, but they are not working hard either. He holds a small wooden object, turning it slowly, checking it, smoothing one edge with a quiet, patient motion. It is not urgent work. It is simply something to do while the body unwinds. Near the table, a child sits quietly, not playing loudly, not running, just sitting, watching, maybe holding a small object, maybe tracing a finger along the edge of the table. The child is learning the evening without being told. Learning that night is not a time for noise. Learning that stillness can feel safe. Learning that calm is something shared. The only sounds inside the room are soft. The faint crackle of the fire. The quiet movement of cloth. The small shift of wood against wood. A slow breath here and there. No one is speaking much, and yet the room does not feel empty. It feels full in a quiet way, full of presence, full of gentle awareness, full of people who are simply being. The fire continues to glow. A piece of wood settles slightly, and a few tiny sparks rise, then disappear. The light moves across the walls, creating soft shadows that stretch and then relax again. The shadows do not dance wildly. They move slowly. Everything here moves slowly. After a while, the woman pauses her stitching. She holds the cloth up, looks at it in the low light, then nods slightly. Not a big reaction, just a quiet understanding that the work is enough for now. She folds the cloth carefully and places it beside her. That small action marks a shift. Work is ending. The evening is deepening. The man also slows his movement. He turns the wooden piece one last time, then sets it down gently on the table. No loud sound, just a soft touch as it meets the wood. The child shifts slightly, leaning closer to the warmth of the fire. No one announces that it is time to rest. They simply feel it. This is another comfortable habit of the medieval night, knowing when to stop without needing to say it. The body understands. The eyes grow heavier. The hands move less. The mind stops reaching for tasks. And so, the room begins to prepare for sleep in quiet, natural steps. The woman stands slowly. Her movement is unhurried. She takes a small step toward the table. adjusts a bowl, moves a cloth slightly, making sure everything is in its place for the morning, not perfectly arranged, just gently ready. The man leans forward and adds a small piece of wood to the fire, not to make it bigger, but to keep it alive through the night. A low, steady heat, enough to comfort, not enough to disturb. He then uses a simple tool to shift the coals closer together, creating that soft, glowing center. The fire becomes calmer, more red than orange, more glow than flame. The light in the room changes again, softer, deeper, more restful. The child watches this quietly, learning, again, without words, learning that the fire is not just for warmth, but for rhythm, for marking the end of the day. The woman walks toward a corner where a sleeping space is prepared. It is simple, a low bed made of wood and rope, or perhaps a pile of straw covered with cloth and blankets. The materials are not luxurious, but they are familiar. Familiar things can be very comforting. She adjusts the blanket, smoothing it with her hands. The sound of fabric moving is soft and slow. She places something near the bed, perhaps a small object, perhaps just ensuring everything is ready. Then she pauses for a moment, just standing, not doing anything. That pause is important. It is the moment where the day fully releases. Back near the fire, the man stretches slightly, not a large stretch, just enough to ease the body. The child moves closer to the sleeping area, guided not by instruction, but by the quiet understanding that the night has arrived. The room is now very calm. The fire is low. The light is dim. The air is warm and still. And in this calm, something gentle happens. The space itself begins to feel like it is holding the people inside it. Like the walls, the fire, the air are all part of the same quiet moment. No one is alone here, even in silence, even without words. This is another soft comfort of the medieval night, togetherness without noise. Now, as the last small movements settle, the room becomes ready for rest. Bodies will lie down, eyes will close, breathing will slow. But we will not rush into sleep yet. In the next part, we will stay a little longer in this quiet home and notice how people prepared their beds, their blankets, and even their thoughts before drifting into that first deep sleep. For now, just remain in this warm, dim room. Let the slow fire, the soft shadows, and the gentle stillness rest in your mind. The room remains soft and dim. Nothing has changed quickly. Nothing has shifted suddenly. The calm has only deepened, like a gentle evening that continues to unfold at its own quiet pace. The fire glows low, its light now more red than gold. It does not reach the corners of the room anymore. It only touches what is close: hands, faces, the edge of the table, the nearby wall. Everything else rests in shadow, not dark in a heavy way, but in a soft, peaceful way. The kind of shadow that does not hide, but simply allows things to rest. Now, the simple habit of preparing for sleep begins. No one rushes to lie down. There are small, careful steps. The woman reaches for a folded blanket. It is made of wool, not smooth like modern fabric, but slightly rough, thick, and warm. Wool holds heat in a steady way, and it has been trusted for many years, passed from one season to the next. She shakes it gently. The movement is slow, controlled. The blanket opens with a soft sound, like a quiet breath. Then she places it over the sleeping space, smoothing it with her hands, one side, then the other. No sharp motions, only steady, familiar movements. The man, nearby, checks the edges of the bed. If it is a rope bed, he might press lightly to feel the tension. If it is straw beneath cloth, he might adjust it slightly, making sure it feels even enough. Comfort here does not mean perfection. It means good enough to rest. And that is a very peaceful idea. The child watches, learning again through silence. Not everything needs to be explained. Some things are understood simply by being present. Near the hearth, a small object rests, a clay pot with a little warmth still inside. Perhaps it once held water. Perhaps it held something simple from the evening meal. The woman picks it up, checks it, and places it in a safer position, away from the edge. This is another quiet habit, making sure nothing will disturb the night. A small adjustment now prevents a problem later, and once it is done, the mind can rest more easily. The man moves toward the door, not to leave, but to check it once more. He places his hand against it, feels its firmness. The wooden bar is still in place. The latch holds. He does not test it loudly, just a gentle touch, a quiet confirmation. Yes, it is closed, and with that, the outside world feels even further away. Inside this home, there is enough safety for sleep. The child now moves toward the sleeping space. Slow steps, no running, no sudden energy, just a natural pull toward rest. The body knows it has been a full day, and now it is time to let go. The woman sits briefly at the edge of the bed. She adjusts the blanket again, not because it needs it, but because the act itself is calming. Hands smoothing fabric, a small, repeated motion, left to right, then a pause. Sometimes, small repeated movements help the mind slow down. They create a rhythm, and rhythm brings comfort. The man returns to the hearth one last time. He uses a simple tool to shift the coals again, not to wake the fire, only to settle it. The glow becomes even softer, more stable, less movement. It is now a fire meant only to last quietly, nothing more. He then places the tool aside in its usual place. Everything returns to where it belongs. This is another gentle habit, ending the day by returning things to their place, not in a strict or perfect way, just enough to create a feeling of order. And order can bring a quiet sense of ease. Now the light is very low. Only the soft glow of the coals remains. Faces are harder to see clearly. Details fade. And with fewer details, the mind has less to hold on to. This makes it easier to drift. The woman lies down slowly. She pulls the wool blanket over herself. The texture is familiar, slightly rough but warm, the kind of warmth that builds slowly, then stays. The man follows. He lies down with a quiet shift of weight, careful not to disturb the calm that has settled over the room. The child curls under the blanket as well. Small movements, a slight adjustment here, a small turn there, finding a comfortable position. Not perfect, just comfortable enough. Now the room is almost still. Breathing becomes the main sound. Slow, steady breaths, in and out, in and out. The fire gives a faint crackle now and then, a small reminder that it is still there, still watching, still holding a gentle warmth. In this quiet moment, thoughts begin to soften. The day does not need to be reviewed. There is no long list of worries being spoken. Instead, the mind lets go in a simple way, like setting down a heavy basket after carrying it for a long time. Nothing dramatic, just a quiet release. This is another peaceful habit of the medieval night, allowing the mind to settle without forcing it. No need to solve everything, no need to understand everything. Just rest. The body grows heavier against the bed. The blanket holds its warmth. The air feels still, safe, enclosed. The outside world is now only a distant idea. Beyond the walls, the town continues its quiet rest. Other homes are doing the same. Other fires are glowing low. Other people are lying down, pulling blankets over themselves, closing their eyes. Many small moments of rest, all happening at once. And together they create a larger calm, a shared stillness across the town. Inside this small home, the first deep sleep begins to approach. Not all at once, but slowly, gently, like a tide that rises without sound. In the next part, we will stay with this quiet night and notice something interesting. How people sometimes woke in the middle of the night, and how that time was not disturbing, but often calm and even comforting. For now, just remain here, under the soft weight of the blanket, near the quiet glow of the fire, with nothing left to do. Time passes softly. No one in the room notices exactly when sleep begins. It arrives slowly, like a soft layer settling over everything. Breathing becomes deeper. Movements become smaller. Thoughts fade into something lighter, something less clear. The fire continues its quiet work. The coals glow, steady and patient. Sometimes a tiny shift happens, a small sound, a soft settling. But it does not disturb the stillness. It belongs to the stillness. Outside, the town is resting. The streets are empty now. Doors are closed. Windows are dark, except for the faintest hints of light in a few places where fires still glow. The night has fully arrived, and in this deep part of the night, something gentle happens. Not suddenly, not for everyone at the same time, but quietly. Someone begins to wake. It is not a sharp waking, not like an alarm, not like a sudden thought. It is soft, a small shift in the body, a slightly deeper breath. Eyes opening just a little, not fully. This is the middle of the night. And in many medieval homes, this was not a strange thing. Sleep often came in two parts. A first sleep, then a quiet waking, then a second sleep. The waking in between was not something to fear. It was simply part of the rhythm. In this small home, the man opens his eyes slightly. The room is dark, but not completely. The fire still glows, a faint red light that gently outlines the shapes of things nearby. He does not sit up quickly. He does not feel alarmed. He simply becomes aware again, aware of the warmth of the blanket, aware of the stillness in the room, aware of his own slow breathing. For a few moments, he does nothing, and that is enough. After a while, he shifts slightly, turning to one side. The movement is careful. He does not want to disturb the others. The woman continues to sleep, her breathing slow and even. The child is still, wrapped in warmth. The room feels held in quiet. The man listens, not for anything specific, just listening, to the faint sounds of the night. The fire, a distant movement outside, perhaps the wind touching something lightly, the quiet presence of the house itself. This kind of listening is calm. There is no tension in it, only awareness. In some homes, people might use this middle time for small, gentle actions, nothing demanding, nothing that would fully wake the body. Sometimes a person might sit up slowly. They might adjust the blanket. They might stretch their hands slightly, easing stiffness from the day before. In a larger household, someone might whisper a few soft words, then fall quiet again. In certain places, people used this time for quiet thoughts, or even simple prayers spoken softly, almost like breathing. But here, in this home, there is no need for words. The man remains lying down, his eyes half open, then slowly closing again. There is comfort in knowing that waking is not a problem, that there is no need to force sleep to return. Sleep will come again, naturally. This is another gentle habit of the night, not fighting wakefulness, just allowing it. Like watching a small wave rise and fall. If the mind stays calm, the body follows. After a little while, the man shifts again. He pulls the blanket slightly closer. The wool holds warmth, and the warmth deepens. His body relaxes further. The small waking moment begins to fade. Nearby, the fire gives a soft sound. A piece of coal settles. A tiny spark appears, then disappears. The room remains quiet, still, protected. Outside, the sky is deep and dark. Stars may be visible beyond the town, far above the rooftops. The air is cooler now, But inside, the warmth remains. Inside, everything is calm. The man's breathing slows again. The brief moment of wakefulness passes. Sleep returns, not forced, not rushed, just arriving, as gently as it left. The second sleep begins, deeper, heavier, more complete. The kind of sleep where dreams may come and go without being remembered, where time passes without notice, where the body truly rests. The woman remains asleep, undisturbed. The child shifts slightly, then settles again. The room holds them all. The walls, the fire, the blankets, the air. Everything works together to create a quiet space for rest. Across the town, many others experience the same gentle rhythm. Small wakings, soft returns to sleep. A shared pattern spread across many homes. No noise, no urgency, only the slow passing of night. And as the hours move forward, something else begins to change. Very slowly, almost too slowly to notice, the deepest part of night begins to soften. Not yet morning, but not the center of night anymore. A subtle shift. In the next part, we will notice that shift. We will feel how the night slowly moves toward early morning, and how the first signs of a new day begin, very quietly, without breaking the calm. For now, remain here, in this gentle rhythm. Sleep, wake, sleep again, all without effort, all without worry. The second sleep continues, deep and steady. Time moves without being counted. No one in the room is aware of the passing hours. There are no clocks here, no ticking sounds, no numbers marking each moment. The night simply flows, one quiet stretch after another, and slowly, very slowly, something begins to change. Not inside the room at first, but outside, far beyond the walls of the house, beyond the narrow streets, beyond the town itself. The sky begins a very gentle transformation. It is not yet light. It is not even close to sunrise. But the darkness shifts slightly. The deepest black softens into something just a little lighter, like a thin layer lifting away. Inside the home, everything remains calm. The fire is now very low. The coals still glow, but more faintly than before. Their color is softer, a quiet red that pulses gently, almost like a slow heartbeat. The warmth is still there, but it is more subtle now. The room feels cooler than before, though still comfortable. Under the wool blankets, the bodies remain warm, held in that steady, quiet heat that builds through the night. Breathing continues, slow, even, unbroken. The man sleeps deeply now. The woman sleeps as well, her body completely still, her breathing calm and steady. The child is curled slightly, wrapped in the blanket, resting without movement. The room itself feels as if it is sleeping too. The walls hold their silence. The table stands quietly. The tools remain where they were placed. Nothing asks for attention. Nothing needs to be done. This is one of the most peaceful moments of the entire day, the time just before morning, when the world is at its most still. Outside, the air carries a faint coolness. A soft breeze may pass between buildings, touching the edges of shutters, brushing lightly against wood and stone. It makes almost no sound, just a gentle presence. In the distance, far from the house, something small stirs. Perhaps an animal shifting in its sleep. Perhaps a bird adjusting its place before the first call of morning. But even these movements are quiet. They do not break the calm. They belong to it. Back inside the home, the fire settles further. One small piece of coal collapses inward. A soft sound. Then stillness again. The glow dims just a little more. The room is now mostly shadow. Shapes are softer, less defined. The edges of things blend into each other. This softness helps the mind remain at rest. There is nothing sharp to focus on, nothing bright to hold attention, only a gentle, quiet space. The body continues its work, breathing, resting, recovering from the day before. In this time, no one is thinking about tasks. No one is planning. No one is remembering. The mind is quiet, and that quiet is complete. This is another gentle comfort of the medieval night. A world without interruption. No sudden lights. No unexpected sounds. No distant noise carrying through walls. Only the natural rhythm of night. As time moves forward, the change outside becomes slightly more noticeable. The sky is still dark, but no longer deep black. A very faint gray begins to appear, so faint that it is almost imagined. Inside the room, the change is slower. The thick walls keep the darkness longer. The small window, covered and closed, allows only the smallest hint of outside light to touch the inside. But even without seeing it clearly, the body begins to sense it. Very gently, almost without awareness, the deep sleep begins to lighten. Not ending, just becoming softer. Breathing changes slightly, a little less heavy, a little more aware. The child shifts first, a small movement under the blanket, not waking, just adjusting. The woman's breathing changes next, still calm, but slightly lighter. The man remains still, resting in the last part of deep sleep. The room holds this transition quietly. Nothing forces it, nothing rushes it. The night slowly gives way, but without losing its calm. Outside, the first bird may make a sound, not loud, not sharp, just a small single note, then silence again, then another note, somewhere else. The beginning of morning does not arrive all at once. It builds gently, in small pieces. Inside the home, the fire is almost fully settled now. Only a faint glow remains, enough to remind you it was there, enough to hold a trace of warmth. The blankets continue to keep the bodies comfortable. The air is cool, but not cold. The space feels balanced, still, peaceful, the kind of moment that exists between two parts of the day. Not fully night, not yet morning, a quiet bridge between rest and waking. And in this bridge, there is no pressure, no expectation, only a slow return. In the next part, we will follow that return. We will see how the people in this home begin to wake, not suddenly, but gently, and how the first small actions of the morning begin without breaking the calm of the night that came before. For now, remain in this soft, quiet space, where everything is still, where the world has not yet asked anything of anyone, where rest is still the only thing that matters. The quiet bridge between night and morning continues. The room is still mostly dark, but no longer as deep as before. The shadows feel softer now, as if they are slowly lifting, even if only by a small amount. Nothing changes quickly. Everything moves at the same slow, careful pace that has carried through the night. Inside the home, the first signs of waking begin. Not all at once, not for everyone at the same time. Just small, gentle changes. The child stirs again, a slight movement under the blanket, a quiet shift of legs, a soft turn of the head. Eyes do not open fully. The body is simply becoming aware again. The warmth of the blanket is still there. The comfort of the bed is still holding. There is no need to rush away from it. The woman's breathing changes next. It becomes a little lighter, a little more aware. She does not open her eyes yet. She simply rests in that in-between state. Not fully asleep, not fully awake. A calm place, a soft place. The man, after a little while, begins to wake as well. His body shifts slightly. A slow breath in, a slow breath out. His eyes open just a little. The room is dim, but he can sense the space around him. The shapes, the quiet, the familiar feeling of the home. He does not sit up immediately. He remains still. This is another gentle habit of the morning. Waking without jumping into action. There is no sudden movement, no immediate task, just awareness. The man turns his head slightly. He looks toward the hearth. The fire is nearly out. Only the faintest glow remains, a soft reminder of the warmth that carried them through the night. He listens. The room is quiet, but not silent in the same way as before. There is a different kind of quiet now, a quiet that holds the beginning of something. Outside, a faint sound appears again. A bird. Just one, then another, a little further away. The sounds are small, but they are clear. They do not break the calm. They gently shape it into something new. Morning is beginning, but very slowly. The man takes another breath. He shifts his hands slightly, feeling the blanket, the texture of the wool. It is still warm, still comforting. He lets that feeling remain for a moment. No need to leave it yet. Nearby, the child opens their eyes just a little. Not fully, just enough to see a blur of the room. Then the eyes close again, a small return to rest. The woman finally opens her eyes slowly. No sudden movement, just a gentle awareness. She looks upward for a moment, not focusing on anything specific, just being awake, just feeling the quiet. No one speaks. There is no need for words. The morning does not require them yet. The room holds a soft stillness, the kind that exists just before the day begins. After a few moments, the man slowly shifts his body. He sits up slightly, carefully. He does not want to disturb the calm. The blanket falls gently from his shoulders. The air touches his skin, cool but not uncomfortable. He pauses, just sitting, letting his body adjust. This pause is important. It allows the waking to remain gentle. Across the room, the woman turns slightly. She pulls the blanket closer for a moment, then slowly begins to sit as well. Her movements are quiet, measured. There is no rush. The child watches them now, eyes open but calm, still resting, still warm. The man moves toward the hearth. Slow steps, bare feet or simple shoes touching the ground softly. He kneels slightly and looks at the coals. There is still a little life there, a faint glow. He takes a small piece of wood, places it carefully, then waits. No blowing, no sudden action, just patience. After a moment, a small flame appears, very small, then another. The fire begins again, not loudly, not quickly, just enough. This is another comforting habit, starting the fire slowly without force, letting it wake as gently as the people do. The light in the room begins to change, not from the outside yet, but from the small fire growing again. A soft orange returns. It touches the nearby wall, the edge of the table, the side of a face. The warmth follows slowly. The room begins to feel alive again, but still calm, still quiet. The woman now stands. She adjusts her clothing slightly, smooths a fold, moves with care. She walks toward the table and touches it lightly, as if greeting the space. The child sits up now, rubbing their eyes gently. No hurry, no pressure, just waking. Outside, the bird sounds grow slightly more frequent, still soft, still distant. The sky, though not fully visible, is becoming lighter. The world is returning, slowly. Inside the home, the day has not started in a loud way. It has started in a gentle way, with small movements, with quiet awareness, with soft light returning. No one speaks yet, and that silence feels natural, comfortable, as if words can wait a little longer. In the next part, we will follow the first simple tasks of the morning. Not busy work, not heavy work, just the small routines that begin the day in a calm and steady way. For now, remain in this quiet moment of waking, where everything is slow, where nothing is rushed, where the day has not yet asked anything of you. The morning continues to arrive, slowly and gently. Inside the small home, the soft glow of the newly awakened fire begins to spread a little more warmth. It is still a small fire, not strong, not loud, but enough to bring a quiet comfort back into the room. The man remains near the hearth for a moment. He watches the small flames grow, just slightly. No rush. He does not try to make the fire large. He allows it to build in its own time. A thin piece of wood catches, then another. The glow becomes a little brighter. The warmth becomes a little more noticeable. Behind him, the room slowly wakes. The woman moves toward a small container near the wall. It holds water, not fresh from a deep well at this moment, but enough for the first simple tasks of the morning. She lifts it carefully. The sound of water shifting inside is soft, a gentle movement. She places it near the table. No heavy sound, just a quiet set down. This is how the morning begins here, with small, manageable actions. Nothing overwhelming, nothing fast, just one thing at a time. The child now stands slowly, still a little sleepy, still wrapped in the softness of the night. They take a few quiet steps across the room. The ground feels cool under their feet, not uncomfortable, just different from the warmth of the blanket. They pause near the table, watching, learning again without being told. The woman dips a cloth into the water. She lifts it, letting a small amount of water fall back into the container. Then she gently wipes her hands, slowly, carefully, not rushed. The cloth moves across the skin in a simple, repeated motion. It is not only for cleanliness. It is also a way of waking the body, a soft transition from rest to movement. She then offers the cloth to the child. The child takes it quietly, repeats the same motion, learning the habit through action, not instruction. The man stands from the hearth now. The fire is steady enough. He steps toward the table. He pauses for a moment, looks around the room. Everything is as it should be, simple, in place, calm. He reaches for a small wooden cup, fills it slightly from the water, drinks slowly, no large movement, just a quiet sip, then another. Water in the morning feels different, cool, fresh, a gentle way to wake the body from the inside. He places the cup back down. The sound is soft, barely noticeable. Outside, the light continues to grow, still not bright, but no longer dark. A pale gray begins to touch the edges of the world. Inside the room, the firelight and the early daylight begin to mix, a soft blending of warm and cool tones. The shadows become lighter, details become clearer. The table, the stools, the cloth, all gently returning into view. The woman now moves toward a small storage space. She opens it slowly. Inside, there are simple items, grains, perhaps a small piece of bread left from the night before. Nothing large, nothing complex. She takes out what is needed. Not more, not less. Enough for a simple morning. This is another quiet habit, taking only what is needed. No excess, no waste, just enough. She places the items on the table, arranges them lightly, not for appearance, just for ease. The man returns briefly to the hearth. He adjusts the wood slightly. The fire responds with a soft flicker, still calm, still controlled. He places a small pot nearby, not directly into strong flame, just close enough to warm. Everything here is done with care, with awareness, with patience. The child sits at the table now, hands resting quietly, watching. No impatience, no demand, just being present. The morning is not loud. It does not arrive with sudden noise or quick movement. It unfolds, like the night did, slowly, gently. The woman tears a small piece of bread, places it near the child, another small piece for herself, another for the man. No large portions, just enough to begin. They eat quietly. No rush, no talking, just simple, steady movements. The act of eating becomes calm. The body receives what it needs. Nothing more, nothing less. Outside, a few more sounds appear. Birds, a little more awake now. Still soft, still distant. The town is beginning to stir, but not yet busy, not yet loud. Inside this home, The morning remains peaceful. No one is thinking far ahead. No one is rushing into the day. They are still in the beginning, still in the quiet. The fire continues to give warmth. The light continues to grow. The air feels fresh, balanced. The woman finishes her small portion. She wipes her hands again with the cloth. Slow, gentle. The man sits for a moment longer, not moving, just resting in the early morning calm. The child looks toward the doorway, not to leave, just noticing the world beyond. The day will come, work will come, movement will come, but not yet. For now, there is only this: a small room, a quiet fire, simple food, slow breaths, gentle beginnings. In the next part, we will step outside again and follow how the town itself begins to wake. Slowly, softly, just like this small home. For now, remain here, in this peaceful beginning of the day, where everything is enough, where nothing is rushed. The morning continues to unfold, one quiet moment at a time. Inside the small home, everything has begun gently. Now we step outside again, back into the narrow street, where the town itself is slowly waking. The air outside feels cool and fresh. It carries a softness that belongs only to early morning. Not cold in a sharp way, not warm yet, just balanced, calm, and still. The sky above is now a pale gray, with the first hints of light spreading slowly across it. No strong sunlight yet, only a gentle brightness, like the world is opening its eyes very slowly. The street is no longer fully empty, but it is far from busy. A door opens quietly. The sound is soft, careful. A man steps outside, holding a small bucket. He pauses for a moment, looking at the sky, breathing in the morning air. There is no rush in his movement. He simply stands, letting the day begin around him. Further down the street, another door opens. A woman steps out, holding a cloth. She shakes it lightly, letting the cool air pass through it. The movement is slow and steady. The cloth catches the soft morning light, then settles again. These are the first movements of the town, small, simple, unhurried. The ground beneath your feet still holds a little of the night's coolness. Each step feels quiet. There are no loud footsteps here, only soft contact with the earth and stone. You begin to hear more sounds, but they remain gentle. A wooden bucket being placed near a doorway. A faint creak as a shutter is opened. The soft, brushing sound of someone cleaning a small space in front of their home. Nothing sharp, nothing sudden. The town is waking in the same way the people inside their homes did. Slowly, naturally, without pressure. You walk further along the street. The houses now look a little clearer. Details that were hidden in shadow are returning. The lines of wood beams, the texture of stone, the uneven edges of roofs. Everything feels more visible, but still calm. A small group of birds lands nearby. They move lightly, pecking at the ground, making soft, quick sounds. Their presence adds life to the morning, but does not disturb its peace. They are part of the rhythm. A man walks past you, carrying a simple tool. He nods slightly to someone nearby. No long conversation, just a small acknowledgement, a shared understanding that the day is beginning. This is another gentle habit, greeting without interrupting the calm. A nod, a quiet word. Then, moving on, the street slowly fills with more presence. Not crowds, just individuals, each person beginning their own day in their own quiet way. A young boy carries a small bundle of wood. His steps are careful. The wood is not heavy, but he carries it with attention. He does not run. He walks steadily, learning the rhythm of the town. A woman near a doorway pours a small amount of water onto the ground. She wipes the surface lightly. Not a deep cleaning, just enough to refresh the space. A simple act, repeated each morning. Further ahead, a faint sound reaches you. A distant bell. Not loud, not sharp, just a slow, steady tone. It does not rush anyone. It simply marks the time. A gentle reminder that morning has arrived. You pause for a moment, listening. The bell fades. The quiet returns. But now, the quiet feels different. It is no longer the stillness of night. It is the calm of a day just beginning. You continue walking. The bakery you passed earlier is now open. The door is wider. Warmth and a soft smell of fresh bread drift into the street. Inside, the baker is already working. Slow, steady movements, shaping dough, placing it carefully. No loud noise, just the quiet rhythm of early work. The smell is comforting, warm, familiar. It spreads gently through the air, inviting but not demanding. A few people pass by, noticing it. No one rushes in. They simply take it in, knowing it will be there when needed. This is another peaceful part of the morning. Work that begins before the world fully wakes. It creates a soft foundation for the day. You walk further. The well you saw at night is no longer empty. A person stands beside it, slowly drawing water. The rope moves with a steady rhythm. Down, pause. Up, the bucket emerges, water inside moving gently. No splashing, no hurry. The person lifts it carefully, placing it aside. Another quiet task, another small beginning. The sky is now brighter, still soft, still without harsh light. The outlines of the town are clearer, but the feeling remains calm. No urgency has arrived yet. No loud voices, no crowded movement. Just a slow, shared waking. You notice how everything fits together. The people, the homes, the sounds, the air, each part moving at its own pace, but all connected. This is the comfort of routine, of repetition, of knowing what comes next, without needing to think too much about it. The town does not wake all at once. It grows into the day, like light spreading across the sky. Little by little, step by step, as you stand in this quiet street, you can feel that the calm of the night has not disappeared. It has simply changed form. It now lives in the slow movements, in the soft sounds, in the steady beginning of the day. In the next part, we will follow one of these early workers and see how their simple morning tasks continue. Still calm, still steady, still without rush. For now, remain here, in this gentle morning, where everything is beginning, but nothing is hurried. The town continues to wake, but gently, without pressure. We now move a little closer to the bakery, where the door stands open, just enough to let the morning air and soft warmth meet each other. Inside, the space is simple. A wooden table worn from years of use, a low oven built from stone, a few tools placed in familiar positions. Nothing new, nothing decorative, only what is needed. The baker stands near the table. His movements are already in rhythm, not fast, not slow in a tired way, but steady, like someone who has repeated the same actions so many times that they no longer need to think about them. Before him rests a mound of dough, soft, heavy, slightly warm. It carries the quiet life of yeast, slowly working, slowly rising. He places both hands on the dough, presses gently, then folds it, then presses again. The motion repeats. Press, fold, turn, pause. Each movement is calm. Each action follows the last without interruption. This is not work that demands urgency. It is work that asks for patience. The baker does not rush the dough. He cannot. Dough has its own time, its own quiet pace. And so he matches it. His breathing remains steady, his shoulders relaxed. There is no strain in his movement, only familiarity. This is another comfortable habit of the medieval morning, working in rhythm with something that cannot be hurried. The room holds a soft warmth. The oven still carries heat from earlier preparations, not burning, not intense, just enough to create a gentle, steady environment. Nearby, a wooden bowl rests with more dough inside, covered with a cloth, waiting. Everything here waits its turn. Nothing pushes forward. Nothing demands to be first. The baker pauses for a moment. He lifts his hands from the dough, wipes them lightly on a cloth, then rests them at his sides. A small pause. This pause is not wasted time. It is part of the rhythm, a moment for the body to settle before continuing. Outside, faint morning sounds drift in, footsteps passing, a quiet voice in the distance, the soft call of birds. But inside the bakery, the focus remains gentle and contained. The baker returns his hands to the dough. He shapes it now, not pressing as before, but guiding, turning it into a form that will soon become bread. Round, even, simple. He places one shaped piece aside, then another, each one similar, not perfectly identical, but close enough to feel right. He does not aim for perfection. He aims for consistency, and consistency brings comfort. Nearby, a small amount of flour rests in a wooden container. He takes a handful, sprinkles it lightly across the surface. The fine powder falls softly, a quiet dusting, nothing wasted, only what is needed. The table now carries a soft layer, ready for the next step. The baker lifts a piece of dough, places it down, shapes it again. His fingers move with quiet understanding. They know where to press, where to hold back, where to release. This is knowledge built over time, not rushed, not forced, gained slowly through repetition, through many mornings just like this one. The oven waits, its heat steady, its purpose clear. The baker moves toward it. He checks the warmth, not with a tool, but with experience. A hand held near, a careful sense of heat, then a small adjustment. A piece of wood shifted, a door opened slightly. Everything done with attention, nothing done quickly. He places the first shaped dough inside, carefully, no sudden movement. The door closes, softly, and now the waiting begins again. Bread takes time, it cannot be rushed, and so the baker returns to the table. More dough, more shaping, the same movements, again and again. Press, fold, turn, pause. The repetition becomes calming. The mind does not wander far. It stays here, with the hands, with the motion, with the quiet purpose of the task. Outside, the light grows stronger. The street becomes more visible. More people pass by now, still calm, still unhurried, but more present. Inside the bakery, the warmth deepens slightly. The scent begins to change. At first, it is faint, a soft hint. Then slowly it grows. The smell of baking bread, warm, rich, comforting. It spreads gently through the room, then slips out into the street, carried by the morning air. It does not demand attention, but it invites it. A quiet invitation. The baker notices, but does not react strongly. This is expected. This is part of the routine. He continues his work, unmoved by the change. Steady, focused, calm. A few moments pass. Then he moves to the oven again. He opens it slightly. A wave of warmth escapes, soft but noticeable. He checks the bread, not touching, just looking, observing, understanding, then closes the door again. More waiting, more time. This is another gentle lesson of the medieval morning. Good things arrive slowly. There is no need to hurry them. The baker steps back. He rests his hands again, looks around the room. Everything is as it should be, simple, orderly, calm. Outside, the town continues to wake. Inside, the bakery continues its quiet work, both moving at their own pace, both part of the same slow beginning. In the next part, we will follow how this bread leaves the oven, and how simple morning exchanges begin between people. Still calm, still quiet, still without rush. For now, remain here. with the soft rhythm of hands and dough, with the gentle warmth of the oven, with the comforting scent of bread slowly filling the air. The morning has now settled into a gentle rhythm, not fast, not crowded, just a steady flow of small actions repeated across the town. Inside the bakery, the air has changed. The scent of bread is now fuller, warmer, more present. It rests in the room like a quiet comfort, spreading slowly, touching everything without needing to be noticed. The baker stands near the oven. He does not rush to open it. He waits, because he knows the moment will come on its own. And when it does, there is no need to hurry. After a short while, he steps forward. He opens the oven door carefully. A soft wave of warmth moves outward, not sharp, not overwhelming, just a gentle release of heat. Inside, the loaves have changed. They are no longer soft dough. They are firm now, golden in color, simple in shape, each one slightly different, but all carrying the same quiet purpose. The baker reaches in slowly, using a tool or cloth to protect his hands. He lifts one loaf, then another, places them gently onto the wooden table. The sound is soft, a light touch of bread against wood. No noise, just a quiet placement. The loaves rest there, warm, still, releasing a faint, comforting steam into the air. The baker does not move them quickly. He allows them to rest. This is another gentle habit, letting things settle before using them. No rushing, no immediate action, just patience. Outside, the street has become a little more active. Not busy, but alive. A few people walk past the bakery. Some glance inside. Some slow their steps just slightly. The smell of fresh bread reaches them. It does not call out loudly. It simply exists, and that is enough. After a few moments, the first person enters. A woman wrapped in simple clothing. Her steps are quiet. She does not rush to the table. She pauses for a moment inside the doorway, allowing her eyes to adjust, allowing herself to enter the calm of the space. The baker nods gently. No big greeting, no loud words, just a small recognition, a shared understanding. She steps forward slowly, looks at the bread, not with urgency, not with excitement, but with a quiet sense of familiarity. She has done this before, many mornings. She selects a loaf, not by searching for perfection, but by choosing what feels right. She places a small payment on the table, coins perhaps, or another simple form of exchange. The baker accepts it with a small nod. No counting in front of her, no long discussion, just trust. This is another soft habit of the medieval morning. Exchange without tension, simple, direct, calm. She takes the bread, holds it carefully. The warmth reaches her hands, a quiet comfort. She turns, walks back toward the door. No rush, no lingering, just a gentle completion of the task. Outside, she continues her morning. Inside, the bakery remains calm. Another person enters, then another. Not many, just a few, each one following the same quiet pattern. Enter, pause, choose, exchange, leave. No crowd forms, no noise builds. The rhythm stays steady. The baker continues his work. He arranges the remaining loaves, not for display, just for ease, so each one can be reached without disturbance. His hands move slowly, carefully. He does not stack them too tightly. He leaves space. This space is important. It keeps everything calm, nothing pressed, nothing forced. Outside, the light grows stronger. The pale gray of early morning begins to shift toward a softer brightness. Still not harsh, still gentle, but clearer now. The town becomes more visible, more awake, but still peaceful. A man passes by with a small cart. The wheels roll quietly. He does not stop. He continues on his path. Each person moves with purpose, but without rush. Inside the bakery, fewer loaves remain now. The table looks more open, less full. The morning work is slowly reaching its natural end. The baker does not hurry to fill it again. He allows the process to unfold. When it is time, he will make more, but not before. This is another quiet lesson, doing what is needed, when it is needed, and no more. He steps back from the table, wipes his hands gently, looks around the room. Everything is still calm, still simple. The warmth remains. The scent lingers. The space feels complete. Outside, the sounds of the town continue to grow slightly. More footsteps, more small movements, but still no chaos, still no pressure, just a gradual increase in life. The bakery door remains open. The air moves gently in and out, carrying warmth, carrying scent, carrying the quiet rhythm of the morning into the street. In the next part, we will step away from the bakery and follow how the rest of the town continues its day. Still steady, still calm, still connected to these simple habits. For now, remain here, with the warm bread resting on the table, with the quiet exchanges, with the gentle flow of a morning that asks for nothing more than presence. The morning continues to open, slowly and naturally. The early quiet has not disappeared. It has simply stretched outward, becoming part of the wider rhythm of the town. Nothing has rushed forward. Nothing has broken the calm. Instead, the day has grown gently, like light spreading across a still surface. We move away from the bakery now. The door remains open behind us, the warmth and soft scent of bread still resting in the air, slowly fading as we step further into the street. The town is more awake now, but it is not loud, it is not fast. It is simply active in a quiet way. People move with purpose, but not urgency. Each person has something small to do, and each task begins with the same gentle approach. You walk along the street again. The ground feels slightly warmer now, touched by the growing light of the sky. The air still carries a cool softness, but there is a hint of warmth beginning to rise. A man stands near his doorway, holding a simple tool. He is not rushing into work. He is preparing for it. He runs his hand slowly along the surface of the tool, checking it, feeling its shape, making sure it is ready. This small act is not hurried. It is part of the work itself. Nearby, a woman sits on a low stool just outside her home. In her hands, she holds a basket. Inside, there are small items, perhaps vegetables, perhaps herbs, perhaps something gathered from the day before. She sorts them slowly, one by one. No quick movements. No need to finish fast. Her hands move with a calm rhythm. Pick up, look, place aside, repeat. This is another peaceful habit, beginning the day with simple, manageable tasks. Tasks that do not overwhelm. Tasks that allow the body and mind to fully wake. Further along, a door remains open. Inside, you can see someone sweeping the floor. The movement is slow. The broom passes across the ground with a soft sound. Back and forth, not forceful, just enough. Dust moves gently, then settles again. The act of sweeping becomes quiet, almost soothing. The repetition creates a rhythm, and the rhythm creates calm. You continue walking. The street is now filled with more life, but still no crowd, no noise that pushes against you. Only a gentle flow of people and small actions. A boy carries a small container of water. He walks carefully, not spilling, not rushing. Each step is measured. He is learning, just like before, learning that the day begins with care, not speed. Two people pass each other. They exchange a few quiet words, soft voices, short sentences. Then they continue on their way. No long conversation, no stopping, just a simple connection. This is how the town communicates in the morning. Brief, calm, and without interruption. You notice a small space where a few items are laid out on a cloth. Not a busy market, just a few things. a handful of vegetables, a piece of cloth, a simple object. The person sitting there does not call out loudly. They do not try to attract attention. They simply sit, present, available. If someone comes, they will respond. If not, they remain calm. The town does not force activity. It allows it. The sky above is now brighter. A soft, pale light fills the space. Shadows are lighter. Edges are clearer. But still, nothing feels harsh. The light is gentle, welcoming. You pass by the well again. More people are here now, but not many. Each person takes their turn. Slowly, the rope moves. The bucket lowers, then rises. No one rushes the other. No one speaks loudly. Just a quiet understanding of shared space. A woman lifts her bucket and steps aside. Another person moves forward. The rhythm continues. Down, up, pause. The sound of water is soft. A gentle movement. Not loud, not sharp. This shared task becomes part of the morning's calm. Further ahead, a man sits on a low bench. In his hands, he holds a piece of leather. He is working on it slowly, cutting, adjusting, smoothing. Each motion is careful. There is no pressure to finish quickly. The work will be done, in time, and that is enough. This is another quiet lesson of the day. Trusting time to carry the work forward. No need to push against it. No need to rush ahead. You pause for a moment in the street, looking around, feeling the space. Everything is moving, but nothing feels rushed. Everything is happening, but nothing feels overwhelming. The town is alive, but it remains calm. The habits of the night have carried into the day. The same softness, the same steady rhythm, the same gentle approach. People do what they need to do, but they do it in a way that does not disturb the peace. And that is what makes this moment so restful. Even in activity, there is calm. Even in movement, there is stillness. The morning continues, not rising suddenly, but growing slowly into the hours ahead. In the next part, we will follow how this calm continues into the later part of the day, and how, even as work becomes more present, the gentle rhythm of life remains. For now, remain here, in this steady, peaceful morning, where everything moves, but nothing rushes. The morning has now grown into a later hour, but the calm has not disappeared. It has only settled more deeply into everything. The light from the sky is stronger now, yet still soft. It spreads across the town in a gentle way, touching rooftops, walls, and the ground without creating harsh brightness. Shadows remain, but they are lighter, less defined, almost resting alongside the light instead of standing against it. The air has changed slightly. There is a mild warmth now, mixed with the coolness that has not fully left. It creates a balanced feeling, neither cold nor hot, just comfortable enough for steady work. You walk slowly through the town again. The streets are more active than before, but still far from busy. There is no overwhelming movement, no crowd pressing forward. Instead, there is a quiet flow. People moving in different directions, each following their own simple path. A man carries a bundle of wood across his shoulder. He does not hurry. Each step is firm and steady. The wood shifts slightly as he walks, making a soft sound, but nothing loud or sharp. He adjusts it once, carefully, then continues on his way. Nearby, a woman stands by a doorway, hanging a piece of cloth. She lifts it slowly, places it across a line, smooths it with her hands, then steps back slightly to look at it. No rush, no need to move on quickly. The task completes itself in its own time. Further along, a small open space has formed where a few people gather. Not for noise, not for activity, but simply because their paths have crossed. They stand for a moment, exchange a few quiet words, a short conversation, soft voices. Then, one by one, they continue on their way. No long delay, no interruption to the flow of the day. This is another gentle habit, allowing connection without losing calm. People meet. They acknowledge each other. Then they move on. The balance remains. You notice how work continues across the town, but it is not heavy, not rushed, not forced. It moves like everything else here, steady and even. A man repairs a wooden surface. He sits on a low stool. His tool moves across the wood with a soft scraping sound, slow, controlled. Each motion removes just a small amount. He pauses often, not out of tiredness, but because the work allows it, because the work expects it. This is the kind of work that does not demand constant movement. It allows space. It allows breathing. It allows thought to drift quietly without being pulled too far. Nearby, a young child carries a small basket, not heavy, just enough to hold. They walk carefully, watching each step, learning the same rhythm that fills the town. Not fast, not careless, just steady. The sunlight now touches more of the street. It rests on the ground in soft patches. Where it meets shadow, the change is gentle. No sharp lines, only a slow blending. The buildings hold the light differently. Stone feels cooler. Wood feels warmer. Each surface carries its own quiet presence. You pass by another open doorway. Inside, someone is preparing a simple meal. The movement is calm, cutting something slowly, placing it aside, reaching for another item. Nothing hurried, nothing loud. Even the act of preparing food remains peaceful. The sound of a knife is soft. The placement of items is careful. Everything continues the same gentle rhythm. Further ahead, you notice a cart standing still, not being pushed, not being moved, just resting. Beside it, a man checks its wheel. He turns it slowly, feels its movement, makes a small adjustment, then stops. No urgency to move forward, only attention to the moment. The town feels fully awake now, but it does not feel different from earlier. The same calm remains, the same steady pace, the same quiet understanding that everything will be done in time. There is no sense of being late, no pressure building, no sudden change, only continuation. This is another quiet lesson of the day. The calm does not belong only to night. It can remain even as the day grows. You stop for a moment in the middle of the street, looking around, listening, feeling. The sounds are slightly more frequent now, but still soft. Footsteps, light voices, the movement of tools, the shifting of objects, all blending together into a single, gentle background. Nothing stands out. Nothing pulls attention strongly. Everything remains balanced. The air moves lightly through the street, carrying warmth, carrying faint scents, carrying the quiet life of the town. You notice how no one is rushing ahead of the moment. Each person stays within their task, within their step, within their breath, and that creates a feeling of ease, a feeling that nothing is being lost, nothing is being chased. Everything is simply unfolding. The morning moves forward, but it does not push, it does not demand, it only continues. In the next part, we will follow how the day begins to slow again toward midday rest, and how even in the middle of the day, people find small ways to pause, to sit, and to let the body settle once more. For now, remain here, in this late morning calm, where the sun is gentle, where work is steady, where everything moves, without hurry. The day has now moved gently toward midday. The light is higher in the sky, but it does not feel harsh. It spreads evenly across the town, touching rooftops and streets in a calm and steady way. Shadows grow shorter, but they do not disappear. They simply rest closer to the objects that create them. The air feels a little warmer now, not heavy, not tiring, just warm enough for the body to notice. And with this warmth, something else begins to happen across the town. The pace softens again. not because work is finished, but because the body naturally asks for a pause. You walk slowly through the street. The movement around you is still present, but it has changed. Fewer steps, more stillness. People begin to sit. A man who was working earlier now rests on a low bench. His hands are still, his shoulders relaxed. He is not sleeping, just sitting, breathing, letting the body settle. Nearby, a woman sits near her doorway. The basket that was once full of small tasks now rests beside her. She does not touch it. She simply allows herself a moment, a quiet pause in the middle of the day. This is another gentle habit, resting before tiredness becomes heavy, not waiting until the body demands it, but listening early and responding softly. Further along, a small group of people sits together in a shaded area. They are not speaking much, just a few quiet words now and then. Mostly, they sit in shared silence, and that silence feels comfortable, not empty, not awkward, just calm. The shade provides a soft relief from the growing warmth. The air moves gently, carrying a light breeze through the space. It touches faces, clothing, hands resting quietly. You notice how even this rest is simple. No special preparation, no large change, just sitting, just pausing, just allowing time to slow. In one home, the door remains open. Inside, a simple midday meal is being prepared. Nothing large, nothing heavy, just enough. A small pot rests near the fire. The flame is low, controlled. The person tending it moves slowly, stirs gently, pauses, then stirs again. The smell is light, not strong, just a quiet presence in the air. Food here is not meant to excite. It is meant to support, to settle, to carry the body forward. Outside again, a man drinks from a small cup. He does not hurry. He takes one sip, pauses, then another. Water at midday feels different, softer, more welcome, a quiet refresh. The street itself feels calmer now, not empty, but quieter than before. Less movement, more stillness. Even the sounds have softened. Footsteps are slower, voices are fewer. The town takes a breath, a long, gentle breath. You walk to a small shaded corner and pause, not because you need to, but because it feels natural. The ground here is cool. The air is soft. The light is filtered. Everything feels balanced. This is the middle of the day, but it does not feel busy. It does not feel heavy. It feels held in a moment of rest. You notice a child sitting nearby. They are not running, not playing loudly, just sitting, watching, learning the same quiet habit, that even in the middle of the day, there is space to be still. A man leans back slightly against a wall, closes his eyes for a moment, not sleeping, just resting them, letting the light fade for a short time. Then he opens them again, slowly, no rush to return. This is another quiet lesson. Rest does not need to be long to be meaningful. Even a small pause can bring calm. Even a short stillness can ease the body. Across the town, this same moment exists in many places. People sitting, breathing, pausing, no one forcing movement, no one pushing forward, just allowing the day to hold them for a moment. The air carries a quiet warmth, not strong, just present. The light remains soft. The sounds remain gentle. Everything feels steady. Even time itself feels slower. Not because it has changed, but because no one is chasing it. No one is pulling it forward. They are simply moving with it. And that makes the difference. As this midday pause continues, the body begins to feel ready again. Not suddenly, not all at once, but slowly. Energy returns. Movement will return, but gently, just as everything else has. In the next part, we will follow how the day begins to soften again toward evening, and how the same calm habits return, bringing the town back into the quiet comfort of night. For now, remain here in this soft midday rest, where nothing is urgent, where everything is enough, where the day pauses without losing its peace. The day continues, slowly moving forward from its quiet midday pause. Nothing changes suddenly. The warmth of the sun begins to soften again, almost without notice at first. The light shifts slightly, becoming less direct, more gentle, more familiar, like something you have already experienced before, because you have. The day is beginning to turn back toward evening. You walk again through the same street. It looks almost the same, and yet something is different. The light rests lower. The air feels calmer. The movement of people has changed, not gone, just softened. The tasks of the day are slowly reaching their natural end. A man who worked through the morning now carries his tool back toward his home. His steps are slower than before, not from exhaustion, but from completion. The work has been done, and now there is nothing to rush toward. Nearby, a woman gathers the items she had laid out earlier, one by one. Carefully, she places them back into a basket. No hurry, no quick movements, just a quiet closing of the day's work. This is another gentle habit, ending the day with the same calm it began with. Nothing left scattered, nothing left unfinished in a restless way. Just a soft return. Further along, a door that was open through the morning now begins to close. Slowly, the same careful movement from before. Wood meeting wood. A quiet sound. A familiar ending. You notice how the town does not stop. It settles. It folds back into itself, like a gentle rhythm completing its cycle. The sky continues to change. The pale brightness fades into warmer tones. Soft gold, then softer still, then something closer to gray again. The same path, returning. People move toward their homes, not all at once, not in a crowd, just one by one, each following their own quiet path. A child walks beside an adult. Their steps are small, unhurried. They do not run. They do not rush ahead. They simply move together. The same calm rhythm you felt in the morning returns, but now it carries the softness of the entire day. You pass the bakery again. The door is no longer open. The work is done. Inside, everything rests. The table is clear. The oven is quiet. The warmth remains, but softly. No movement, only stillness. The scent of bread has faded into memory. The space has completed its purpose for the day, and now it rests. The street becomes quieter. Fewer footsteps, fewer voices, more stillness. The well stands empty again. The rope rests. The bucket hangs quietly, just like it did in the night before. The same place, the same calm, returning again. This is the gentle circle of the day. Morning to midday, midday to evening, evening to night. And then again, you continue walking. The houses begin to glow softly from within. Small lights appear, not bright, just enough. A candle, a hearth, a quiet presence behind each wall. Inside those homes, the same habits begin again. The fire is lowered. The day is released. Simple meals are prepared. Hands are washed. Doors are checked. Voices soften. The same rhythm. The same calm. Returning without effort. Nothing needs to be remembered. Nothing needs to be planned. The body already knows. The mind already understands. The woman you saw earlier now sits again near her hearth. Her hands move slowly, perhaps mending something once more. The same gentle work, the same quiet rhythm. The man rests nearby. His movements are minimal. The child sits close, watching, learning. The same scene, the same calm. The day has come full circle. And now, night approaches once again. The air cools slightly. The light fades. The shadows deepen. The sounds soften. Everything returns to stillness. Not because it must, but because it naturally does. This is the comfort of the medieval habit. living in a rhythm that always returns to calm. No sudden endings, no sharp changes, just a gentle cycle. Again and again, you stand once more in the quiet street, the same place where the evening first began, the same calm, the same soft presence. And now there is nothing more to do, nothing more to follow. The day has completed itself. The night is ready to begin again, and everything rests exactly where it should be.